Hey guys, welcome back to ArtosisCasts. Today we're going to be taking a look at Mind going up against HyuK. We're on Blitz Y. I almost called it Blitz X. Of course, Blitz Y. Blitz X turned on its Y-axis instead of its X-axis. But I'm definitely liking this map so far. Definitely a very interesting two-player map. Feel like I haven't seen enough games in any matchup but Terran versus Protoss to really get what's going on here yet. So not entirely sure what we'll end up seeing from either side. I do think Mind is a bit favored. I do favor him over HyuK, although HyuK is very strong and has been playing a lot. Mind just seems to be almost a top-level player right now. Kind of like not spoken about as much or anything, but really, really strong. Well, while we wait to see what these guys want to open with, I want to thank you guys for checking out ArtosisCasts. I know I say that a lot, but I mean it a lot. So thank you very, very much. I do read those comments and everything pretty much daily. Well, yeah, actually, there's no day I don't. Normally, when I'm on the toilet, I check them. So, yeah. And then normally it'll be like I'll give a thumbs up and a heart to a couple comments, and then someone will complain about something that's stupid and they'll be completely wrong. I'll call them a moron and then call it a day. But I do thank you guys for checking it out. And yeah, just let me know if you have any feedback in comments and stuff. And I do think about those things, even if I might not respond to a certain one. There are different things that have improved here. And I don't know. I'm not always telling people about them. Sometimes I try to improve something, see if anyone notices. So if you ever think something improved, you should probably say something, because I might stop doing it if no one does. Because I'm like, okay, they don't even know. They don't even know that I changed this one thing and I thought it was better quality. I guess it doesn't matter. Anyways, right now we have a little bit of harassment by this drone. It is a walled expansion he's going for, but it's a hatchery first for HyuK, as you can see. So it's not like a big deal that he's harassing the barracks. It does force another worker to come down. This is always an annoying thing. But it's seriously not the end of the world. The second depot gets started because he wants to clog that up. So basically this is the only hole now for Lings to get through. And, well, he gets over here with a scout finally. Like, the reason why he got over here with the scout so late, because normally you would look at this and say, oh, maybe I'll go command center before the second depot. But there was already a drone harassing you, so you already want a Marine. And with the drone harassing you, you don't want to lose your economy totally. So it's actually better to not send an SCV to scout for a little bit longer and just deal with the drone and get the second depot so that you're ready in case Lings come. But anyways, he gets the scout off. He sees the timing of the layer, and that's very important. Marines being made and rallied up a little bit. I don't imagine any real damage will be dealt, as 4 Lings are being hatched at the moment. The Marine looks like it wants to pop in to do some damage, but as he sees these Lings pop out, he is going to turn it around and run away. Secondary Marine just kind of like waiting out here. Now, that's a third depot, and that is a refinery. So we're either going to see an engineering bay or an academy coming up. I think it's going to be engineering bay. And there it is. So this is going to be a very fast +1 attack build coming out of Mind. The very fast +1, generally against a 2 hatchery Mutalisk build, which is what this looks to be, will be 4 barracks, just producing a lot of Marine medic and trying to put pressure on the map. It's definitely a very good build, a very strong build. And, you know, there are a lot of ways that you can try to play against this. You know, you can go for faster lurker if you realize that that's what it is. You could go really heavy muta and also Zerglings to try to kill the army when it comes out. That can be a powerful play. You can make mass sunken colonies so that if they try to counterattack you and you harass them, they can't break through and you get a lot of damage with your mutas. Right? There's a lot of different options here for HyuK. But the first things first, he has to identify what this is. And I think he will be able to relatively quickly. Like, in about 20, 25 seconds, he's going to be like, okay, the Marine count is probably too high to be a factory build. Nothing is coming out, so it's not 2-Rax Academy. Most likely, it is a +1 rush. Right? You really, this is like one of the most important things that happened during Remastered. There was no built-in clock in the original StarCraft, so you'd have to just feel things out, and if you lose track of where you are in the game, you can't be very precise. I honestly think that that made the game more skilled. Not that it's wrong to not have a clock, but like that's kind of like I don't know, if you screw up your opponent at all, you can kind of keep track of what time it is in the game, but they might not be able to, if that makes sense, right? Like that could be really tough. Now, this is a 5:33 move out, and he only sees one medic, so he knows it's a late academy. And there hasn't been a scan, or no, maybe there has been a scan. No, there hasn't yet. So, yeah, looking at this, I think that HyuK knows that this is a quick +1. Okay, a scan goes down. We have the 3 hatcheries starting to make the mutas, 7 mutas on the way, +1 air attack on the way. 3rd base, pretty quick here for HyuK. That's quicker than I anticipated. Bunker going down in the natural. Plenty of missile turrets going up. Oh, this is fascinating. Okay, I gotta talk about this. Okay, so this is a 3 barracks +1. I'm actually a big fan of this build. Mihu uses this a lot. And in fact, I have to say he's the only player I've ever seen use this. So the very quick +1, but you don't put pressure on with it. Instead, you just utilize a really nice fast upgrade. You were safe anyways, and you still get your tech super, super fast. Totally didn't realize that until just now. So cool to see. Now, the mutas flew up and got good vision of everything, okay? He saw the starport making, so now HyuK has a very good idea of what's going on. He only saw one starport, and he saw the lifted factory. So from here, I would definitely suggest to HyuK to get his Hydralisk Den. There it is. Perfect. Like here, if you see that they're not immediately going into siege tanks, you can definitely go into that Hydralisk Den, get those lurkers out, and the lack of siege tanks will be hard to push through. But they're quick vessels, so it's not like the end. Oh, it's not even quick vessels. It's going to be quick Valkyries. This is a very cool game from mine so far. A very cool game. So, lurker upgrade. Probably a Queen's Nest about to go down next to it. There it is. And yeah, no siege tank on the way. If this had been him adding an add-on for a siege tank and, you know, just going like one starport, I feel like it would be a big advantage for Mind. Right now, I don't feel like either side has a big advantage. I like the builds on both sides. It feels like they both have a lot of play here. You know, no siege tank coming up, so like you can make static D, which will be helpful. Maybe he'll get lurkers out. I think right here what we're seeing is he wants to use a full group of mutas to harass the bio as it goes through here. You know, when you're going through such thin areas, it's hard to maneuver your units. It's hard to have the medics heal everything. In fact, I don't know that he should go through the center. I feel like you'll end up losing most of your bio. Probably better to wait for your Valkyries. The bio being stemmed back and forth, still sitting back. He has that +1 over halfway done. That's kind of one of the cool things as well. The +1's going to make a huge difference. That +1 armor I'm talking about, of course. The +1 always does. But getting the +1 armor quickly is probably underrated. Now, the first couple Valkyries come out. Let's take a look. Okay, a few Lings out on the map. Hydra's starting to pop. Lurkers are on the way somewhere. Where are the lurkers on the way? Are these them? Oh, very tricky. Notice how he actually put these up. There's 2 lurkers with the other eggs. This is a smart move to do because if someone's glancing quickly, they might not realize that there's lurkers being morphed. They might just think it's like Zerglings or whatever. So cool move. Valkyrie's coming out, putting some damage onto these Mutalisks. Muta's pulling back quickly. Ooh, that's a ton of damage. So much damage being dealt to HyuK's mutas. Now, the lurkers are down, and they were on hold position, but Mind pre-scanned and got in there, so they take a ton of damage. Mind might be finishing this game in a moment, killing off so many of those mutas, but it looks like the lurkers and Sunkens will be just enough and just in time. Some Scourge are hatching, but aren't here yet, so we might get a supply block as well onto HyuK. Oh, man. Not quite a supply block, but a lot of damage dealt. Look at the amount of Overlords that he's killing off. He's eliminated, I think, every single Mutalisk, which could open up dropship play later on. And now Ling Lurk are going up the center. Maybe something to stop reinforcements. One thing you do have to be wary of course, is as those defilers come out, will you take the short path and try to just get a Darkstorm in your natural? Great way to end up winning a game. This tiny group of Marine medics did poke over here. Looks like there's not actually good defense here, but he backs up, doesn't want to overcommit. And in fact, HyuK was coming in for a flank, so that would have been able to kill everything. And instead, he's here and he's killed a lurker. So there's definitely multiple ideas that you could have gone with. The thing is, if you stim in here, you can't hit this without attacking those. And if you're attacking those and this comes in, you lose everything. So a lot of different small choices being made here by Mind and by HyuK. Very intricate play on both sides. Those 1-1 upgrades, you can really see that +1 armor helping out a lot against these Lings. Very surprising there's any Marines left in there, but it keeps the medics alive, which is fantastic. Excuse me, 3 Valkyries right now. Science vessels on the way. I tell you, I've seen a lot of Valkyries lately from Terran pros. I think that everyone's getting kind of sick of how good mutas are. And we're seeing a little bit of a rotation back into that Valkyrie play. Mind looks to be getting ready for a third base. Consume almost done. Some good anti-drop here. This is important, right? He's got some units to catch anything that comes in and multiple Scourge. In fact, did you see that scan? He scanned right here. HyuK probably caught that, by the way. You'd be surprised. Like when you hear a scan, you know where they might be looking and you jump to it really quickly. He's making dropships. As soon as you see a scan somewhere like this, unless it's a 10,000 IQ play, it means that they are making a dropship or have a dropship. So you want to be extra on top of that. Look at this. More Hydras up here as well. Adrenal upgrade. Hydra speed on the way. So we might see a... it looks like it might turn into Ling Hydra Lurker Defiler, which of course is a very popular one. The one Lurker over here gets irradiated. Bioforce moving down. Could be a good place to hit. All right, the Nidus Worm does reinforce. Some irradiates go down, but totally going to be safe for now. Mind backing out of the area. Some additional fire bats added into his army. Does have that +2 attack on the way. That third command center still coming up. I am wondering about this. Now, excuse me, he comes up and throws down the Dark Swarm. Plague is on the way, so he'll be able to do that pretty soon. And starts to come up here. This is something that I would view as very scary throughout the game. This is not a very far distance to try to push through. Now, this time he has fire bats for the Lings, but if you try to push up here with Lurker Ling Defiler, this seems to me to be a hard area to hold the expansion on. Because if you get a Dark Swarm anywhere, like, you can just push Dark Swarms up. And if you have Lurkers in there, fire bats don't counter it. So that, I feel like this base is like a very tricky one to hold. If you're going mech or something, no problem whatsoever. But when you're playing like a more SK Terran style, I can see that being really problematic. Now some Hydras and Lings coming up to join this Defiler. Not a lot of Lurkers right here, just to mention. Starts to push up through the center. Ooh, a little bit of a mess up here. HyuK just running by with a lot of units. The Hydras easily evaporating the Marines that were left up here. Some medics kind of walking up through the center. Throws down that Dark Swarm. But look, like a Lurker over here dying. Okay, these Lurkers are coming up, so maybe they can come up here and help out. Hydra's just kind of going forward. This doesn't feel like a very coordinated attack by HyuK. It really does not. We did have 2 dropships, which it looks like they were just probably killed by Scourge. I don't know where they went. I was kind of waiting for blinking of attacks, but looks like he holds on here. Maybe that was part of the cleanup, right? Maybe he was cleaning that up and that's why it was so disjointed, but this attack so far not really that great. Dark Swarm's surely going to go down here in a second. Some siege tanks starting to be made here by Mind. Yeah, he has to abandon this base, and no big surprise. You know what? The more I'm thinking about this, I think on this map, you might have to, even if you're going SK Terran, just go siege tanks and line them here. Because, like, if you don't, you see how quickly this push came up. And it didn't even feel very well done, but he got rid of this, and now he's up here, and this is highly annoying. Now, there is a counterattack. I'm not saying that HyuK's going to win because of that, but you can see just how much damage is dealt so quickly. Like, shuts down that base completely. Very, very tough situation there for Mind. Now, stimming forward. Has some good upgrades with 2-1. Well, he's playing against 1-2 as well. Kind of nice. The reverse flank here. Little sandwich coming down. But yeah, targets down that lurker before it can even go up. Darkstorm goes down. Just going to go ahead and run through it. I'm surprised he doesn't kind of go after that, but bringing his army up in the other direction. Nothing up here to protect from these Lings, so the Ling's probably going to get some massive damage. They do have adrenal upgrades. So going to be able to deal that damage really quickly despite the +1 SCV armor. Yeah, going to lift that off. Mind having a hard time continually building. Now, he does have some siege tanks. He has 2 tanks right now. Might end up building some more. We don't see him being built at the moment. But 1 doesn't really do it. Excuse me. As you're seeing here, 1 doesn't really quite get you where you want to go. You know, he kind of overextends there. I feel like it's one of the messier games that I've seen at the pro level, right? Like, Mind is doing an okay job holding on, but like, look at these rallies coming up. I almost feel like HyuK is a broken computer right now, just sending like 5 or 6 units up at once. They're not really together that much. He does have some other things going on that are powerful, like these Lings up in the top left have done a great job. And, you know, there's fire bats here, which would help out if there's a dark swarm, but with the hydras there on top, you know, the lurker spine's really helping against that. More coming up. No defilers, though. And in fact, it's just like hydras powering through at the moment. Kind of a wild game here. Quite a few vessels. Still holding on. And he does have some more siege tanks coming up. Okay, this is really kind of what I want to see, right? If you front load this area, you put like a decent amount of siege tanks, maybe here, something like that. Maybe a bunker, put some fire bats up here. I think that's going to be something where Zerg's like, okay, I'm just not pushing through there anymore. And they're going to have to find different routes. So I'd love to see him be able to shut that down. But as of right now, we still have HyuK pushing up, making lurkers over here. You know, Mind being taxed a little bit. Few lurkers and some morphing going on over here. Looks like Mind will be able to hold on. Very good scan there. Very clutch to kill that off at the last second. Orling's trying to close. Again, those +2 carapace upgrades doing a very good job. Another defiler coming up to help out. Yeah, very good plague goes down, but losing quite a few units for it. Still mining up here in the top left. So Mind still has a pretty good economy despite running out here. He's just about to run out here. You know, these lurkers are being annoying at the moment, but he is going to be able to set up some tanks and be able to push those out. You know, HyuK still has a pretty good economy. 4 gas is nothing to scoff at. I feel like the lurker count could be a little bit higher due to the 4 gas. Feels like he's making a lot of hydras, but not morphing that many into lurkers. Now, obviously, as you get more siege tanks, and they're great vessel targets and everything, so you definitely want to have hydras still in there. But the more hydras you use, the more defilers you really need, because you need to be hitting plagues. That's really kind of how hydras take everything out. Now, nice defense matrix there on that firebat. Does get a nice plague down. Ooh, I love that. Push that up next to all the units. Look at him walk the irradiated defiler next to everything for that additional splash damage. Really, really well done. Targeting down some of these vessels as well. Ooh, I love the depot. Really good idea. Just makes them go around, gets the siege tanks some extra hits before they get attacked. But we have HyuK shutting down that top left base. All right, +3 attack is done. +2 armor coming up here for Mind. trade. Some Siege Shanks coming to the center to try to help him out a bit. Darkstorm going down. This base still having a hard time getting its mining back up. Great plagues here. The Hydra's starting to push through everything. Like I was saying, if you plague things down, it doesn't matter that Hydras have explosive damage. They just kill everything at that point. Pushing forward on top of some of these Siege Shanks. These Hydras will get cleaned up, but might be able to pick off a tank or two on the way. Yeah. Gets one at least. Still a lot more Hydras coming up. As that tank count increases, though, you know, that's kind of like what you want to do against these heavier Hydra plays. If you get a lot of Siege Shanks out, it can become really difficult for the Hydra, Ling, Defiler, Lurker comps to actually get on top of you. They can throw down Darkstorms and maybe make it up with some, but you get pretty cost efficient once you get a good tank count. And he's getting there right now. And this little Bioforce will be pushed back. Some Lings coming up trying to trade, but with those plus attack upgrades, the tank's clearing them pretty quickly. All right, another big push coming up here from HyuK. Gonna get that burrow down on a couple of them. Needs another Darkstorm immediately. Needs to get that Lurker underground. Okay, gets the Lurker underground. That's a big moment. Pushing forward the Hydras, and that's gonna be a GG out of mind. That was actually like a really close game, really back and forth, and I do think that it all comes down to proper defense here. I feel like I learned a lot about this map this game. Like, as an outside observer, obviously while these pros are playing, it's a lot harder to maybe analyze exactly what's going on because you're doing so many things at once. But me just watching this, it feels like this area must be controlled by Terran if you want to win. HyuK just attacked it over and over, relentless attacks, and Mind was having a hard time getting back out on the map. So, you know what? Great job from HyuK picking up a win against such a strong Terran. Hope you guys enjoyed this game, and thanks for watching.